Do you ever feel like your own mind is working against you? Like a storm is brewing inside, and no matter how hard you try, you can't escape it? Anger flares without warning. Fear creeps in and tightens its grip. Sadness washes over you like a tide you didn't see coming. You tell yourself to calm down, to think clearly, to let it go. But nothing changes. It's exhausting. It's relentless. And deep down, you know this isn't how life was meant to feel. You're not imagining it. Most people live trapped in this invisible prison, unaware of the chains tightening around them every single day. Every argument, every regret, every moment of self-doubt chips away at something vital. Your time, your energy, your joy. They're all being drained by emotions you feel powerless to control. You've tried ignoring them, fighting them, pretending they don't exist, but they don't disappear. They grow. They decide for you when you act, what you say, and how you see the world. And it's not just the big moments that suffer. It's the small, invisible ones. The missed opportunities because fear whispered not yet. The friendships that frayed under words you wish you hadn't spoken. The nights you spent replaying mistakes in your head while life passed you by. Every uncontrolled emotion is a choice you didn't know you were making. Every reaction you couldn't stop was a moment of your life slipping through your fingers. But here's the truth. Most people never realize. Emotions aren't your enemy. They're signals. They're a language your mind uses to communicate what's important, what's unresolved, what's demanding your attention. The problem isn't feeling them. The problem is letting them run the show. When fear, anger, sadness controls your decisions, you live a fragmented life. When you learn to step back, to observe without judgment, a new world opens. Suddenly, the same emotions that once trapped you can guide you, sharpen you, even empower you. Imagine for a moment what it feels like to notice the surge of anger rising in your chest and to pause instead of lashing out. To feel anxiety coil in your stomach and to breathe through it, choosing clarity over chaos. To recognize sadness knocking at your door and respond with understanding, not self-punishment. This isn't fantasy. It's a skill, a muscle, a way of living that is available to anyone willing to do the work. And yes, it can be learned. Learning, it starts with one thing, awareness. The moment you recognize that an emotion is influencing your thoughts, your body, your choices, you step into control. That moment is power. It's the pivot between being a victim of your feelings and becoming the architect of your life. You don't have to suppress what you feel. You don't have to fight a war inside yourself every day. You only need to see it clearly, understand its origin, and choose your response. That choice is where freedom begins. Freedom from emotional chaos isn't quiet or easy at first. It demands attention, courage, and practice. It will push you to notice patterns you've ignored. It will challenge beliefs you've clung to for years. It will make you confront truths you've buried deep. But the reward? A life where emotions serve you instead of ruling you. A life where decisions are deliberate, not reactive. A life where peace isn't a distant dream, but a constant companion. And here's the most important part. Every small step compounds. Each time you pause, each time you reflect, each time you respond with intention instead of impulse, you reclaim a fragment of your power. Emotions stop being obstacles and start being tools. Every choice becomes a building block for a life that feels purposeful, steady, and alive. You begin to see the difference between living by instinct and living by design. You realize that the storms inside can be mastered, and with mastery comes clarity, confidence, and control. You don't have to surrender another moment to emotions that don't serve you. You don't have to let fear dictate your actions, anger dictate your words, or sadness dictate your perception. There is a path out of the chaos, and it begins the instant you decide to look inward, to face what you feel, and to reclaim control. That path is yours to walk. Each step brings power. Each step brings clarity. Each step brings life back into your hands. And when you finally realize that when the first moment of true control comes, you will feel something that has been waiting for you all along, relief, strength, and the unmistakable sense that you are no longer at the mercy of your emotions. You are in charge. Every day you allow emotions to control you, the cost silently stacks. It starts small, almost invisible. A sharp word you didn't mean to say, a decision made in panic, a door you didn't knock on because fear whispered it wasn't worth it. But these small moments compound. They accumulate like unseen debts, draining energy, eroding confidence, and quietly reshaping your life without your permission. You may feel it as stress, frustration, or dissatisfaction. You may shrug it off, telling yourself it's just the way life is. But it isn't. You're not doomed to drift under the weight of every feeling that arises. The difference between a life lost to emotions and a life mastered is simple. Awareness meets action. Notice how anger coils in your chest before it bursts. Feel the tension of fear tightening around your thoughts before it dictates your choices. Recognize the sadness pressing down on your mind before it slows you down. That moment of recognition is a spark. It's the instant you step out of autopilot and reclaim your power. It's the turning point that separates reaction from control. Most people never see it. Most people let the waves sweep them away. You don't have to be most people. You can pause. You can breathe. You can respond instead of react. You can decide what serves you and what doesn't. And it's not just about avoiding mistakes. It's about reclaiming your life. Each uncontrolled emotion is a choice you didn't consciously make. Each unexamined reaction is a fraction of your potential slipping away. When you start noticing, when you begin observing without judgment, you gain clarity. The chaos inside begins to settle. You see patterns in your thoughts, triggers in your environment, habits in your responses. You see the hidden levers that have been controlling you all along. Knowledge alone doesn't change you, but knowledge combined with deliberate action becomes unstoppable. That is where transformation begins. You may think this sounds abstract, but it isn't. Imagine the power in a single pause. Imagine feeling anger rise and instead of exploding, choosing to respond with calm and reason. Imagine fear pressing in and instead of freezing, taking a deliberate step forward. Imagine sadness knocking and instead of sinking, acknowledging it and letting it guide you to deeper insight. Each pause, each conscious choice, each small act of emotional mastery builds momentum. The more you practice, the more control becomes automatic. You aren't suppressing feelings, you're harnessing them. You're converting raw energy into focused power. The stakes are higher than you realize. Every decision made in emotional chaos shapes the trajectory of your life. Every reaction left unchecked writes a story you didn't choose. Opportunities slip, relationships fray, confidence erodes. Your future depends on the control you cultivate today. If you wait until it's too late, the chance to reclaim your path become harder to grasp. But if you act now, if you step into awareness and choose your responses deliberately, you take ownership of your destiny. You no longer wait for life to happen to you. You make life happen through the mastery of your inner world. It begins with small, precise actions repeated consistently. Breathing before responding, naming your emotions without judgment, questioning the thoughts that accompany your feelings, observing triggers and patterns. Each act rewires your mind, reshapes your reactions, and rewrites the story of your life. It feels slow at first. Progress is subtle. But each day compounds. Each moment of awareness grows your power. Each deliberate response strengthens your control. And before long, the transformation is undeniable. You become someone who chooses clarity over chaos, purpose over impulse, strength over surrender. The reward isn't just control, it's freedom. Freedom from the roller coaster of highs and lows. Freedom from regret and self-recrimination. Freedom to act, to think, to feel without being ruled by unseen forces inside. You start to live deliberately. You start to create the life you want instead of drifting through the life you inherited. The sense of peace, clarity, and confidence becomes addictive. You can't go back to living unconsciously. You see the difference in every decision, every relationship, every step forward. Life opens up in ways you didn't know were possible, and urgency must fuel you. Every day spent letting emotions hijack your actions is a day lost. Every uncontrolled reaction is a moment of potential wasted. You can't afford to drift any longer. The time to act is now. Begin noticing, begin observing, begin choosing, begin reclaiming what has always been yours, your life, your power, your future. The storm inside will still rise. Emotions will still come. But when you stand at the helm, when awareness guides your choices, you are no longer a passenger. You are the captain. And life finally responds to you, not the other way around. Control is not a single moment. It is a constant, unyielding practice. Every second counts, every reaction matters, every choice shapes the life you are building. You cannot wait for the perfect moment because it will never come. Life moves relentlessly forward, and emotions will continue to rise, uninvited and unpredictable. If you hesitate, if you allow distraction or doubt to take hold, those waves will sweep you away again. The difference between surviving and thriving is the ability to act in a moment, to anchor yourself when the storm rages, to decide who you will be before the chaos dictates it. Feel it now. The tension in your chest when anger flares, the tightening in your stomach when fear whispers don't try, the heaviness that sits on your shoulders when sadness lingers. These are not just feelings, they are signals. They are markers pointing directly to what needs attention, what must be mastered, what is demanding your strength. Ignoring them does not erase them. Suppressing them does not diminish them. Facing them, understanding them, choosing your response, that is where power lies. Every time you step into this space, you reclaim a piece of yourself. Do not underestimate the small choices. Pausing before you speak. Breathing when your mind races. Naming the emotion without judgment. Each is a declaration that you refuse to be a prisoner. Each is a brick in the foundation of a life lived deliberately. These moments accumulate faster than you realize. One act of control leads to another. One insight compounds into clarity. One deliberate choice sets a precedent for every future decision. The momentum builds quietly, invisibly, until one day, the storm that once ruled your life becomes manageable. It bends to your will instead of breaking you. The cost of inaction is steep. Every unchecked outburst, every decision made under pressure, every time you let fear or frustration dictate your actions, you pay. Time, energy, relationships, opportunities, they slip through your hands like sand. Regret grows in the spaces left by uncontrolled emotions. Your potential diminishes silently, until one day you wake and realize you have drifted far from the life you wanted. But it doesn't have to be that way. None of it does. Control is not reserved for a few. It is not a gift given to the lucky. It is a skill honed through awareness, repetition, and courage. Think about the life waiting for you on the other side of mastery. The calm when pressure rises. The clarity when emotions surge. The confidence that comes from knowing you are in command. Decisions become deliberate, not reactive. Relationships flourish because you respond with presence, not impulsivity. Challenges transform into opportunities because your mind is steady, your focus sharp. You start to operate from a place of power, not chaos. The sense of relief is intoxicating. The sense of freedom is addictive. Once you taste it, you cannot return to the old way of living. Urgency is your ally. Every day spent reacting, hesitating, or ignoring the signals of your emotions is a day lost. Every moment of surrender strengthens the patterns that control you. You cannot wait for life to slow down. You cannot wait for fear or frustration to vanish on their own. You must step into action now. Awareness without action is wasted potential. Observing without responding is meaningless. You must pair insight with choice, reflection with movement, understanding with execution. That is how transformation manifests. That is how power is claimed. Mastery is built incrementally. It begins in the micro moments, choosing calm when provoked, choosing clarity when anxious, choosing presence when distracted. Each micro moment compounds into a larger pattern. Each deliberate response rewires the mind. Each act of control strengthens your capacity to face the next challenge. You begin to anticipate your emotions, to recognize the triggers, to intercept reactions before they spiral. The life that once felt out of reach starts to emerge, shaped by conscious effort and unwavering commitment. You are not powerless. You are not a victim. The storm inside you is not stronger than you are. It rises, yes, but you can anchor yourself. It threatens, yes, but you can act. It demands, yes, but you can choose. Every breath, every pause, every intentional decision is a strike against chaos and a declaration of sovereignty over your own life. The journey is relentless, but so is your potential. The choice is urgent, but so is you. Our capacity. Stand firm. Step forward. The life controlled by deliberate action, not by reactive emotion, is waiting. Claim it. Now, control is not a destination. It is a constant battle, waged in every thought, every reaction, every choice you make. Emotions will test you. They will rise without warning. Anger will flare. Anxiety will tighten. Doubt will whisper lies that feel true. You cannot avoid it. You cannot outrun it. But you can meet it. You can face it. You can take the wheel before it drives you into decisions you will regret. Every moment you delay, the storm grows stronger. Every unchecked feeling compounds into patterns that shape the life you may not recognize in the mirror. You have to see the truth clearly. Every uncontrolled reaction steals your time, your energy, your confidence, your potential. Every time you let fear dictate your path, every time frustration dictates your words, every time sadness dictates your choices, life slips further out of your hands. This is the cost of surrender. It accumulates silently, invisibly, until one day you wake and realize months, years, decades have passed while you were caught in autopilot. But awareness is the spark. Awareness opens the door. Awareness is the first act of reclaiming power you never knew you had. Do not be fooled by the comfort of distraction. The noise of everyday life hides the chains tightening around you. Social pressures, endless responsibilities, the rush of constant movement, all serve to numb you to what is really happening inside. You must pierce through it. You must confront the rise of emotion in real time. Anger, anxiety, sadness, frustration. Every wave can be intercepted before it crashes. Every surge can be transformed into fuel instead of fire. The more you practice, the more automatic it becomes. Each pause, each deliberate breath, each conscious decision is a brick in the fort. Rest of control. Imagine the power in those moments. Feeling anger flare, yet responding with calm. Feeling fear tighten, yet taking a step forward. Feeling sadness settle, yet observing it without letting it weigh you down. These are not abstract concepts. They are tangible actions that change the course of your life. Micro moments of mastery accumulate. Micro decisions shape destiny. You begin to notice the patterns, the triggers, the hidden levers that have been steering your life without your consent. Once you see them, you can act on them. Once you act, the life you want begins to emerge. The urgency cannot be overstated. Every uncontrolled reaction, every emotional surrender compounds over time. Opportunities are lost, relationships fray, confidence erodes. The future you desire slips further away with each unexamined response. You cannot wait. You cannot hope that control will appear on its own. It will not. Mastery requires action now, every day. Awareness without action is useless. Observation without intervention is wasted potential. You must pair insight with execution. You must act decisively, repeatedly, without hesitation. The reward is profound. Each moment of deliberate control builds momentum. Each conscious response strengthens resilience. Each pause before reaction sharpens clarity. Life begins to flow differently. Decisions are deliberate, not reactive. Relationships deepen because you act from presence rather than impulse. Challenges become opportunities because your mind is steady, your focus unwavering. The liberation that comes from mastery is visceral. It is tangible. It is the difference between drifting through life and navigating it with purpose. Do not underestimate the compounding effect. Every controlled response, no matter how small, sets the stage for the next. Each deliberate choice rewires your brain. Each act of observation strengthens your ability to intercept future surges. Over time, the storm that once dominated your life bends to your will. Emotions stop being obstacles and start being tools. Fear becomes a guide. Anger becomes energy. Sadness becomes insight. You do not suppress. You do not avoid. You harness. You transform. This is the path to sovereignty over your inner world. The storm will still rise. Emotions will still surge. Life will still challenge. But when you stand firmly in awareness, when you act with intention, when you decide instead of reacting, you are unstoppable. You are no longer a passenger in your own life. You are the captain. Every choice reinforces it. Every act strengthens it. Every moment compounds it. Power, clarity, and freedom are not distant ideals. They are available now, waiting for you to claim them. Step forward. Stand firm. Take control. The life you were meant to live is waiting. Every emotion that rises within you is a test. Anger, fear, frustration, doubt. They are not enemies, but they are challenges you cannot ignore. The moment you let one slip past your awareness, it shapes your choices, your words, your life. Each uncontrolled reaction is a chain around your potential, a silent thief stealing your clarity, your confidence, your future. You may feel powerless, but power is not gone. It is waiting for you to claim it, to rise and meet the storm instead of being swept away. You cannot afford another moment of drift. Every second matters. Every decision compounds. Every reaction either strengthens you or erodes you. The first step is brutal honesty. Look at your life as it is, not as you wish it were, not as you tell yourself it is, but as it truly is. How many opportunities have slipped through your fingers because fear or impatience dictated your actions? How many relationships have weakened because anger escaped before it could be tamed? How why nights have you replayed mistakes, wishing you had responded differently? These moments are not accidents. They are the natural consequence of living unconsciously, of letting emotions lead instead of following your own reason. Awareness is your first act of rebellion against this hidden pattern. Do not wait for feelings to subside on their own. They will not. They will rise again and again, testing your resolve, demanding surrender. Each surge is a chance to choose differently, to pause, to breathe, to respond with intention. This is where freedom begins, not in the absence of emotion, but in the mastery of it. To act deliberately in the face of rising anger, to step forward when fear screams, to observe sadness without letting it weigh you down. This is power. This is strength. This is life lived on your own terms. Every small victory matters. Pausing before you speak, resisting the urge to lash out, questioning the thoughts that accompany fear. These are not trivial acts. They are the building blocks of a life controlled by purpose, not by impulse. Each moment of conscious choice compounds. Each act of restraint, clarity, and presence rewires your mind. Slowly, inevitably, the patterns that once ruled you begin to bend to your will. The storm inside does not vanish, but you learn to navigate it. You learn to harness it. You learn to let it serve you instead of destroy you. The stakes are not hypothetical. Every uncontrolled emotion has cost you something real. Time lost, opportunities missed, relationships strained, confidence diminished. The longer you wait, the more it compounds. You cannot afford hesitation. You cannot afford the illusion that control will come without effort. Every instant you pause without action is a moment of potential wasted, a moment where life drifts past your grasp. But every instant you act, every decision made with clarity and intentio, builds momentum, strengthens resolve, and reshapes your trajectory. Imagine the life that comes from mastery. Decisions made with calm precision, reactions chosen with clarity, challenges met with confidence instead of panic. Relationships deepen because you respond from presence rather than impulse. Opportunities seize because fear no longer dictates your steps. Each moment feels lighter, sharper, more alive. You begin to understand that mastery is not about suppressing emotion, it is about transforming it. Anger becomes energy, fear becomes insight, sadness becomes wisdom. Each surge is no longer a threat, but a signal, a guide, a tool for growth. Urgency must drive you. The time to act is now. The storm will come, and it will test you relentlessly. If you hesitate, if you wait for comfort or certainty, it will overpower you again. But if you meet it, if you rise with awareness, if you act with intention, you claim the power that has always been within you. You become the architect of your life, not a victim of circumstance. You take control of the unseen forces that have long dictated your path. Every choice, every pause, every deliberate action compounds. The life you dream of, the life you deserve, the life waiting beyond chaos, it is not out of reach. It is yours for the taking. Step forward, stand firm, master yourself, live deliberately. Nothing else matters until you do. You have felt it. How quickly emotions can hijack your life. A single surge of anger can destroy relationships. A flicker of fear can freeze progress. A wave of doubt can bury potential. The moments you think are small, the reactions you dismiss as insignificant, they add up. They accumulate silently, reshaping your life in ways you barely notice. Every unexamined response chips away at your freedom, your clarity, your ability to choose your own path. The question is not whether you will be tested, it is how you will respond when it happens again. Control is not optional, it is essential. Every decision you make under the influence of unchecked emotion carries a cost. Every word spoken in anger, every choice made in panic, every hesitation born from fear. These moments define your life more than any plan, any strategy, any intention. They leave marks on your mind, your confidence, your future. And yet, awareness changes everything. The instant you notice the emotion before it controls you, you reclaim authority. You step from autopilot into deliberate action. You intercept chaos with clarity. You turn reaction into choice. This is the pivot point between a life dictated by circumstance and a life shaped by design. Imagine the power and mastery, feeling the heat of anger and pausing before it erupts, feeling fear and still moving forward with precision, feeling sadness and allowing it to inform, not immobilize. Each deliberate response strengthens you, builds resilience and rewires your mind. Control compounds over time. Each choice reinforces the next. Each act of awareness trains your brain to respond instead of react. Slowly, the chaos that once ruled your life bends to your will. The storms still come, but you are no longer swept away. You navigate them. You harness them. You transform them into fuel for progress. The stakes are urgent. Every moment of surrender to Him. Ocean carries unseen consequences. Every unchecked reaction erodes confidence, steals energy, fractures relationships, and blurs your vision of what is possible. Time moves forward relentlessly. Life does not pause for hesitation. You cannot wait for feelings to calm on their own. You cannot hope the storm will pass. It will not. Mastery requires immediate action. Awareness without execution is meaningless. Observing without intervening is wasted potential. You must act decisively in every micro moment, every rising surge, every inner challenge. That is how power is claimed. Small, precise steps create unstoppable momentum, pausing before responding, naming the emotion without judgment.